Stay tuned for more rock and roll.
The Ramones, with their homage to old-time Top 40 radio. Which brings me to that topic. Why do we call it Top 40? What's so special about the number 40? And come to think of it, why do we call it rock and roll? Both answers are rooted in the history of radio. Those stories coming up.
More of the secret history of rock coming up. Back to the secret history of rock with Alan Cross.
At this point in our story, we need to consider why we call a certain form of music rock and roll. 100 years ago, rocking and rolling was a common African-American euphemism for sex. The first piece of recorded music that anyone can seem to find about rocking and rolling was a 1922 release by a black blues singer named Trixie Smith. Her song is called My Man Rocks Me with One Steady Roll.
And the clock struck one. I said, now, Daddy, ain't we got fun? All these rocking me with one steady roll.
In 1934, the Boswell Sisters, a group of white jazz performers, released a song called Rock and Roll.
Rock and roll, yeah. Rock and roll, roll and rock away.
This was followed in 1938 by a band leader named Erskine Hawkins, who put out a recording entitled Rockin' Rollers Jubilee. But the song that really did it was a 1947 composition called Good Rockin' Tonight, written by a black New Orleans musician named Roy Brown. He gave the song to a blues singer named Wynonie Harris, who recorded it on December 28, 1947. And all through 1948, this song became a major hit on jukeboxes and on radio stations that played rhythm and blues.
Hold my baby tight as you can. Tonight she'll know on my mind, man. I heard the news, there's good rockin' tonight. Have you heard?
That song was such a big hit that it inspired a flood of new records, all with the words rock and roll in either the title or the lyrics. Alan Freed, the Cleveland DJ, was a big fan of this song. He became very famous by playing R&B records for white kids. He used to begin his show by screaming over an instrumental called Moondog Symphony. This was a recording made by a New York street musician named Moondog. But then Freed took it further. He began calling himself Moondog and King of the Moondoggers, and he started promoting these concerts that he called Moondog Balls. After a while, though, the original Moondog heard about what was going on and launched a lawsuit, saying that Freed was stealing his act. This was obviously a problem for Freed. His catchphrase had been taken away from him. What was he going to do? But after a night of heavy drinking with his buddies, it was decided that he would simply use rock and roll, which was perfect. He'd be talking about sex in plain view of everyone. The kids would get it and love him for it. It was code. Meanwhile, the parents wouldn't understand. As Freed pushed his new catchphrase, it came to pass that every piece of music he played on his program became known as a rock and roll song. In fact, in the fall of 1954, Freed trademarked that phrase with the help of a connected mob guy. And until Freed was brought down by the infamous payola scam of the late 1950s, record executives quietly paid Freed a license fee for the privilege of calling their new releases rock and roll records. Of course, that didn't stick. But the upshot of all this was this new music had a name, and a subversive one at that. And I guess things have never really been the same since, have they?